funny thing is that I was actually supposed to do this newbie tag like 2 years ago, but life happens, you know, so. Hey guys, it's Chanel, also known as Beverly Reads, and we are going to be getting into the Authortube Newbie Tag. I am so excited to be doing this tag finally. I was actually supposed to do this 2 years ago when I started with my Authortube channel, but once I made those 2 videos, I fell off, life happened, but now I'm finally back into it. So let's get right into these questions. Please take a moment to subscribe to my channel and make sure you hit that notification button so you can be alerted whenever I make a new video. So question 1, how did you find out about Authortube? So I stumbled upon Authortube about maybe 2 or plus years ago. I had my writer's Instagram and me just sharing like a bunch of memes or like writer's quote with inspiration. It kind of pushed me to do like, oh, I want to do like an Authortube. Well, I didn't even know it was called Authortube at the time. I was just called YouTube for Writers. I knew I wanted to do it on my own. So that's when I started with my first video, which was about when people ask what writers are writing about. And it was a very short video. I even was using like a selfie stick to record it. I still have braces on, even with my second video, which is really funny looking back at it now. It was Jenna Morsi and iWriterly that I started watching and really got me into it. I was following Brittany Wango on Instagram when she first came out because she started the Plotter Life challenge on Instagram, and I was into that challenge, and then that's when she started her Authortube. And then the funny thing is that I told her to tag me in that Authortube. That's actually how I got the tag, is through Brittany Wang. And by that time I only had 2 videos up, but I was still in college, still had other priorities to do, so I never got back to actually do the challenge, and that's why I'm doing it now. So yeah. Question 2, what genres do you write in? I write in fantasy and sci-fi. For fantasy, I do have to say low because I don't write anything with magic in it or with like wizards or anything, but it's still fantasy because it takes place in a place that's I made up, and there's just a lot of stuff that does happen that could not happen in our world, and it takes place in medieval times. I created a lot of animals and a lot of plants that are totally not real, so that's why I still kept it fantasy. I'm also writing a sci-fi, I can't even call it a novel. It's actually a script, a screenplay. So fantasy and sci-fi are my genres. Question 3, what is your preferred writing tense, point of view, and category of story? So I write in 3rd person deep. I actually just did a video about writing 3rd person deep. Feel free to check that out on your own time. My whip is a new adult fantasy, low fantasy. I mean, adulting's fun. It's so not fun. So not fun. Question 4, are you a pantster, plotter, or plantster? I am a serious hardcore plantster. Are you self-published, published, or yet to be published? I am yet to be published / I haven't even gotten near to that step, and IDK published. It is something I do need to start thinking about, but we'll see. What publishing company, literary agent, or printed company are you represented by or use? And if not, what is your dream publishing house and literary agent? So it's still referencing back to question 5 that I don't really know yet, and I haven't gotten to that step to start thinking about it. It has been on my mind, but it's something I really need to do full research on, and like I said, weigh out the pros and cons of the situation. I think once I'm at the end of my whip or in the beta reader phase, I think that's when I would start to put more attention towards it and do a lot of research and figure out where I will go from there, and I will figure it out. So question number 7, what art related can you expect from my channel? I really started this channel because I really want to show my experience as a writer. I've already talked about writing in third person because it's not widely talked about, and I just did a video about using Immersive Reader from Microsoft to help with editing. So it's all based on sharing my writer insight with others. I really want to talk about writing when it comes to characters, plot, and etc. I know that next week I do want to do a video about a writing hack that I think is like so weird but it's like so effective. So I'm really excited to share those ideas with you guys. So just stay tuned. Question 8. When did you start writing? So I started writing when I was like a little girl, and I was like drawing pictures, probably like stick figures, and I would write a story underneath it, and it would like all be on loose leaf paper. Then I started getting to fan fiction writing. Oh my god, that is... Ugh. So when I talk about fan fiction writing, it's not to discredit or like to hate on the fanfic writers, but I wasn't really good at it, or I was just really young doing it. So it's like my writing was like not great at all. So me talking about fan fiction is just me just being disappointed in myself. It's a huge cringe. It's very, very cringe worthy. But then again, everyone's old writing is very cringy. So yeah. When I got to about middle school, I think it's when I actually started to do writing more frequently. I was just writing my notebooks. It was pretty sure it was fan fiction writing, but then I think I was transitioning into my own writing, making my own characters. So by the time I reached high school, I think it's when I started to take writing more seriously. I'm pretty sure it was like the year 2010 because I believe Tangled just came out. And Tangled was actually the movie that really jump-started me with my own writing, my own characters, my own plot, and I was like really excited to finally get into it. Question 9. What was the first story you have ever written? Oh my gosh. So I'm not going to count the fan fiction stories. So the first story I've written was a script. It wasn't even in a novel format. So it had 2 titles because I still couldn't figure out what I wanted it to be. I'm pretty sure the first one like I officially wrote was called Lost and Found, and it's actually based on the characters that I am still writing with now in my current whip. But I'm pretty sure the plot went along with like 2 childhood friends that got separated because of some siege or something in the castle. So they got separated. The princess went this way, the boy went that way, then finding each other again and then spending time together. It was a very Disney-ish plot because like I said, Tangled like really jump-started me into writing my own stuff. So when I started writing, the idea I had is that I'm about to write the next Disney princess. Yeah, that's not happening. So actually, when I first started writing, one of my main characters, Leon, was actually the real, like the main lead protagonist of the story, while my other MC, Layla, was still the main character, but not the protagonist. She was, I want to say like a step below him, but still not like a minor character or a side character. So the next story got turned to Knights. I was still going with that Disney-ish plot or like Disney-ish like formula for it. It was still a script. So one day I think is when I completed the script and I was just like, you know what? I kind of want to write a book just to give more background info of what's going on. It turned to another thing, and that's how it turned to the whole whip I'm working on now, which is Succession. And yeah, that's how I actually got to my story. So the second story that I'm writing is a sci-fi. It was called Technagers. It's still being called Technagers now, but I might change the name. I don't know. I feel like I've been working with Technagers for so long, and I never get to complete it, but it's supposed to be just like a simple episodes, 23 minutes, and because I always envisioned it being like an animated show. Still trying to figure out things with that. Really working hard on it. So we'll see how Teenagers turn out. My main focus right now is Succession. That's a novel that hopefully when I get to that stage becomes published or self-published. We'll see. Question 10. What author has inspired you the most? So, Brian Jacques was the writer of the series called Redwall. I discovered Redwall when I was a kid because they turned it into a 3-season series on PBS Kids. And I just remember watching it, getting so invested in it with my sister and my dad. If you see what goes on with that show, you'll be really surprised that it got aired on PBS Kids, because there was like a lot of stuff going on. I was like, whoa, characters got the axe, basically. And that was like not a common thing to see on PBS Kids. So I think that's what really intrigued me, being invested into the character's journey. You're invested on why they're doing it or how they're going to get there. Then when they start to struggle, you're just like, oh man, I just want them to succeed. And there's season 3, which that book was called Martin the Warrior. And if you either read it or you watched it, it's so upsetting, so unfair, but it's like so good. But oh man, I was like in tears. Even when I came back to it as an adult, like I was still shedding some tears. So yeah, Brian Jacques really inspired me. It's upsetting that he's no longer here now, but he really did inspire my writing. So question 11, do you schedule your writing sessions or simply get into writing whenever you can find time? It's usually when I can find time, because unfortunately I'm not able to have writing as a full-time job. I have a lot of priorities ahead of me, and sometimes writing has to take a back seat. So whenever I have time, I would go on my phone or just go on my laptop, get some writing in. I also think daydreaming is a part of writing, so it's basically whenever I have time. So question 12, do you type on a computer, typewriter, or write everything out on hand, or blend those? I have to do everything on the computer, mostly through Google Docs or Microsoft, and it hasn't let me down yet. So all of my files are like backed up very well, so I'm very secure with that. As my handwriting is like so atrocious, I cannot afford to do writing by hand, because I could probably write a lot and then I go back to it to see what was written. I wouldn't be able to understand my own handwriting. So it's probably best for me to just do everything on the computer. Always wanted a typewriter actually, but I love the backspace. So it's my baby right here. This is where all of it happens. Well, actually I have another laptop, so this has became like my writing laptop, I'll say. But yep, computers for me. So 13 is the last question, and it's going to be asking, what are you most looking forward to now that you're part of the Authortube? So I'm just really excited to share my writer's journey with everyone. I'm just hoping whatever advice I have, it's able to help the next writer and just help them relate to what's going on, and just making them not feel alone. Like, why am I the only one struggling with this problem? It's probably a common thing, but just knowing that you're not alone in this, and now I'm happy to share my advice with others. So very excited to be getting into that. And that is it, guys. I finally did the Authortube Newbie Tag after 2 years. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please take a moment to subscribe to my channel, and please feel free to like and share my videos. And if you haven't already, you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter to get more writing insight from me. And don't forget, guys, to hang on tight, because we're writing something great. Finally whip out these Edith glasses. Obviously you guys can see, like, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and now I got the glasses to go in that collection. So Edith.